everybody. Welcome to Paranormal Into the Night with your host Dino from Cleveland, Ohio, in the freezing shores of Lake Erie. I'm not going to say that tonight because we are at 68 degrees. It is beautiful outside. Actually, record highs. It's unbelievable this time of the year. But anyways, we are part of the Facebook group Paranormal Into the Night. Give it a check. We do this show every Sunday, Monday through Friday. We chat live with Midnight in the Desert with Heather Wade, Art Bell's show, and we got we chat about a couple other different things. There's a new show out there I just found, Spaced Out Radio, 7 days a week, starts at 1 a.m. Eastern time. So that's another show to check out on there. But yeah, got a lot of paranormal stuff on the page, so check it out. New stuff every day. A lot of good people in there, and I love it. Glad I started it about, oh boy, how many months ago was it when Art came back on the air? So then I started this show up, and Paranormal Minute will not be here later on, but do not go away because you have to stick around. This, I've never heard of an alien story, UFO story similar to this ever before in my life. I met this guy, Tom Walker. I met him in a group, Facebook group. There's so many out there, and there's so many people out there with stories and things to say, and some don't want to talk about it, and some don't mind. Some take a little bit of coaxing. Tom, it took a while for me to have him open up to me, but I mean, I kind of knew stuff was going on, but over the months, finally sat down and talked with me, and it's going to be great. It's take it with a grain of salt, just like anything. Be skeptical. I find them to be genuine, but like anything, who really knows? There's just so many strange things that go on out there, and you're never going to know about it unless you talk to people like this and make your own conclusion. So with that said, I'm just going to bring on the guest, and it's Tom Walker. Boy, I don't even think I'm going to say anything. I'm going to let him do most of the speaking today because he's got one heck of a story. I've heard it, and I just want him to go on and let us know a little bit about everything and what's been transpiring, and take it from there. So did I get concealed carryman ready and armed, bringing style to conceal carry, www.readyindarmed.net, Angie Prepara's website. Lots of cool concealed carry stuff, especially for the women, but all different kinds of things on the website. So check it out. And with that said, let's go to Tom Walker. And Tom, how are you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing pretty good there, Dino. My name is Tom Walker. Appreciate you having me on your show. I was very hesitant on coming on, talking to you, but you seem very genuine in what you're trying to do here with the show, and I appreciate it. I moved here a long time ago. I'm in a small town in Virginia. I'm not going to say much more than that. About 500 people total. This is not where any of this is happening. This is what's happening is out in Appalachia Mountain area, the region. Me and my brother, we got a cabin way down out. Just way out there in the woods. You would never find it if you didn't know about it. Goes pretty deep into the woods, and we have been there for how many years can I say? I'm roughly 40 years old right now. So if you understand the area, the Appalachians, it's wild. It's a big forested area, and you could get lost in there. People do every year. People go missing. Lots of Bigfoot sightings. Me and my brother love going out and just, hunting deer, stuff like that. We just big hunters. And it's just a really cool place that we've been hanging out there. But the story takes a little turn where we were up there one weekend about, I'm going to say maybe about 8 months ago. That's where we all just said, hey, you know what? There's this story of a cave, and this is only for local folk. There ain't too many people out there that really know about this unless you're local. And me and my brother heard about this ever since we were teenagers. So this has been going on evidently a long time. And something just interested us for a long time, especially being a Bigfoot lovers and nature people. We live off the land kind of thing. Not always when we're home, we got all the good electronics going on there and all that stuff. But deep in these woods here, I mean, I'm talking, there's some places where people have never been before in this region. And people don't believe that, but it's true. It's just there's such vast areas that you just can't get to, brush, stuff like that. But anyways, we heard of a story about these just about something, the aliens. Like there was a crash or something, they said, in the woods late when in our teens, and I'm trying to think back about what year that might have been. I'm 40 now, so we're talking maybe 22 years ago. And it's just, like I said, something that just stuck in the back of our heads forever. And so we said, you know what? We're going to take a whole weekend and we're going to go try to figure out where this site is and go look for it. And that's exactly what we ended up doing.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you there, Tom, real quick here, but you say this is the first time you and your brother, you guys are pretty much hunters, and you like living off the land, stuff like that, so I get that, and but going off and like a whole weekend here and doing this and knowing the story that you're about to get into, you guys weren't like scared or worried or anything like that over the whole thing?
Oh no, we are not scared. We're not scared of anything. I just put that out there. We like I said, we live off the land. We hunt. We take care of ourselves. There's not too much that scares us. So even the evil stuff, ghosts, we never got into nothing like that. But this stuff kind of just came out of the clear blue.
Okay, I'll just let you continue on with your story, which ends up being very, very cool. So I'm going to sit back, relax, and just you go ahead and you just tell us where it took you and everything that went on. Wow.
Okay, let's see. Where did I leave off? Let me just start. Okay, we're up there. We're spending the weekend there, me and my brother, and we decide, hey, the little stories that were told about the UFO crash up there, and never anything about anybody ever going up there. I think this was just something that local folk knew about, and never really got out anywhere from that. Because we tend to stick together, and the stories usually we kind of police ourselves, stuff like that. So our stories really don't get out there too often, unless somebody from the outside sees this kind of stuff going on, then it gets out there. But anyways, we decided it was a heck of a trek to even get to the location that we were trying to get to. And I'm not going to give any locations or nothing like that. I'm just not going to do it because I don't want anybody else going out there at all. This is just something me and my brother ended up seeing, and I'm really the only one now who goes up there and keeps on with this visitations basically. And I'll try to get to the heart of the story as fast as I possibly can. Not to keep people on their seats or nothing, because that's not what this is about. is about me just sharing my story because I really didn't want to, but I came out, talked to you, and I said I'd talk about it. But anyways, me and my brother, we ventured out there one day. We had no... Sorry, you might hear the kids in the background playing around a little bit, but nothing I can do about that, Dino. Anyways, me and my brother went and ventured out. We started off, and we knew it was going to take a good 3 hours or so to get into the location, the area. So this is on foot, so it's out there. It's out there. And we got our machetes, and we cut through whatever we need to be to get to where we got to get to go, and we did what we had to do. So on foot, tiring. I have to say that I'm kind of a heavier kind of guy, so to get out there like that was a trek, to be sure. So what we did was we went out there. We finally got to the location where this alien craft was supposedly crashed. And what happened was we were looking. We looked in this area. We knew that people said it was around a cave that was up in these hills here. So we went first looking for that cave. We saw that cave. We know because there's distinct markers around this cave that we know it's that cave. There's outcroppings, a certain large tree right in front of it. So we knew where we were going because we knew the land. And even if we didn't know it as well as we thought, we knew we'd pick it out from the big tree and the outcrop. Everything that was described to us, we knew. I'm thinking after everything that's gone down that nobody's really went into that cave, but they went looking for the craft that evidently might have crashed in this area, because there's trees, big trees in this area. We know the Appalachians got some big old trees. It's old forest, so something happens there. I mean, it's hard to distinguish if trees have fallen, if it's just crumbling, decomposing, rotting, or if something happened. So what I'm thinking, as me and my brothers walking all around this area, we're going, I don't see a darn thing. And my brother he spotted something. He said, hey Tom, come over here. And I came running, and I looked, and he said, look at the tops of these trees. Don't that look awful suspicious to you? Kind of strange? And I looked up at the trees, and this was on the northern side of this cave that we were around looking for this alien ship, UFO, saucer, whatever you call it. And we went over there, and the tops of all these trees, the trees were healthy. They looked good. When you looked at the top of these trees, it looked like a big giant something or other just cut the tops of these trees completely off. And just completely off. Whether it burnt it or I couldn't tell because I can't get up that high. But the tops of the trees just... So we followed this as far off to where we could see it ended up stopping as possible. And where it ended at the tops of these trees, which was a good... Boy, it was a good 50 yards out through that we seen, that this just took off the tops of these trees. And when we got there, right at the bottom, you see there is a big gigantic hole there. It's a big hole. It must have been, boy, as a size of a house, a small 2,000 square foot house, but it was a hole like that. Very strange hole. It was not real deep except for in the middle area. It maybe dropped in about 15 feet into the ground, but the other area was just And you could tell this was, I mean, this has got to be, like I said, 22 years. So there's a lot overgrowth in there. The trees above kind of hamper the light that gets to the canopy. So that in itself, you could still make everything out. There's the hill and the surrounding where the dirt pushed up and made this big gigantic hole and mound. So we went searching. We brought our flashlights out, even though it was daytime. We were looking, and I swear you can't. There's no ship there. That's for darn sure. We have no electrical equipment, or what do you do to find a radioactivity that somebody was telling me about? Was there radioactivity? But I had no idea. We don't have that kind of instrument. And we just kept looking and looking, seeing what we could find. And I could not find a darn thing. So we eventually, after about an hour or two searching, said, there ain't nothing here but this hole, tops of the trees. It's very strange, but I'm not sure that's telling me anything really. So that takes us up to where we start venturing back to where we came from, and make it to that cave. And this is where the story really is. And I don't think too many people gonna believe this, but it's the God's honest truth to this day. I have, I don't want to say too much. I don't know how this stuff really goes in the real world, but anyways, my brother wanted to go home. He said, hey, let's just get going back to the old cabin and let's take off and head back home. And I said, well, you know what, let's go look up in that cave there a little bit. Something just told me to go look up in it. People have always talked about the cave, and a select few. Let me say that much. Not a whole lot of people, but a select few. And so I said, let's go check out that cave. And he was hesitant, but I started walking up there, and what I did was we had our flashlights with us and stuff, and I walked up there and turned on my flashlight and made an entrance. I walked right into that cave. The entrance to the cave was about 5 foot wide, 5 foot tall, so it's not round, but you can just squat a little bit and get in there. And this is where the crazy stuff happens, Dino.
Yeah, crazy. I think this is where the story takes a turn, Tom, to just to being, well, I'll let you just continue to go on. This is where it gets strange, folks. It's very, very, it's wild, man. Wow.
Okay, yeah, this is where I entered the cave. So I entered the cave with the flashlight, got it going, and there was a distinct smell that came out of the cave. It was very, oh man, I don't know how to say it. It wasn't disgusting. It was kind of a sweet smell. So it was, I don't know, it was different. I never smelled anything like that in my life. My brother never did either. He's like, that's just very, very strange. And again, I'm sorry, the kids are upstairs jumping around. So if you guys hear something, nothing I can do about that. But anyways, yeah, so we enter the cave, and we get not more than 10 feet in that we start seeing some strange stuff. Okay, when you first come into the cave, it might look like rocks off to the right hand side, but it's shiny. It was kind of shiny, like looking rocks. I know there's like quartz crystals, but it didn't look nothing like that. It looked totally different. It was, I have no idea. I'm not saying it was parts of a ship or nothing, because, I mean, unless maybe over 20 years, 22 years or so, this stuff turned like mineral deposits and stuff like that that you get in the cave setting with the moisture, especially Appalachians. It's gets moist all year long pretty much, you know, and moss grows up and stuff like that on the stuff. So yeah, it could have been that. But I could clearly see me and my brother both metal in there, and very, very strange. So, and those were just, there were like several pieces just laying off to the side there, like they've been left there for like 22 years or so. It's something that was strange, but you know, we just kind of kept going. We're like, ooh, what's that? You know, we eventually later down the road picked it up, and they were kind of very light to the touch, but my brothers tried to pick one up and throw them down and break it, and it just wouldn't break. I told them, don't do that, don't mess with that. That's you know, just leave it be. We don't know what that is. So we continued. I moved on down in, and about another 20 feet in, it kind of veered off. You could still smell that sweet, weird smell to it in there. And we worked our way in about 20 feet, veered off to the right, and inside there, and nobody's gonna believe me, but oh boy, there's a family of aliens living inside here. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's exactly what I saw in there. It was it looked like your typical grays, but not really a typical grays. They were skinny, very skinny. And people gonna say how they lived 22 years on if something crashed for 20. I have no idea. I really don't. But somehow, well, let me continue. I don't want to go all over the place. I want to continue with the story. And it's there was what I would say was a mother and a father, and there were two other. It was another two. I couldn't distinguish between. You kind of can see the difference between the male and the female, and there was two other ones. So there was a total of four, and the other two weren't quite as large as the other two, who, like I said, seemed like the mother and the father. But 22 years, if this happened and crashed, these other two has to be full grown. So I'm sure they were full grown, but it was four of them. And they were in this room. And there was light in this room. There was a small square box in this room, this cave. It's a cave, but it's a room in this cave that this square box lit up neon green, and it was bright like anybody's household lights. You could see in there. It was, and they were scared, but they didn't make a peep. They didn't say a sound, which was weird. I thought, wow, they're gonna freak out on us. I'm gonna freak out, but I just stood there in awe, in shock, and I'm like, you see this, brother? You see what we got in front of us? What is this? And they all just stayed there huddling. And as this is happening, I'm looking at, they had the deep dark eyes like the gray aliens, but like I said, their figures were long, skinny, slender, and they weren't grayish. They were more of a greenish kind of silky kind of, I don't know, weird to say, not like lizardish, but more like your rubber balls kind of thing. It's kind of strange to say, I don't know, but hard for me to describe except for that. They didn't have no clothes on. I didn't see no things or parts on them. So I don't know. It's all very strange. Even to this day, I'm trying to take it all in and, you know, wonder what it's all about, even though I'm learning more and more. But they just, yeah, I looked around the room a little bit. My brother said, "You see that over there?" And I'm like, "What?" Meanwhile, they're just off in the distance here. The room had to be as big as like an ordinary living room, something. I mean, it was with little nooks and crannies. It's a cave, so it is what it is. But it seems as though they set it up with stuff they got maybe off of the saucer or something, and kept it all in here. There were things that looked like devices and hard to say, with buttons and clear orb type thing, just like a silver ballish type thing, and even that looked nice and clean, like they kept care of it. I don't know what they were living on or eating or nothing like that, because I didn't see anything like that around there. But if they're here for that long, they must be eating something. But they just kept on staring. We're looking at all this stuff, and we're going, holy crap, deep in our heads, even though we can't believe it. This is an alien group of people. They must have crashed through that UFO like those people said. And they're standing right here. And they've been living in this cave for 22 years. I can't believe it. Me and my brother was just so flabbergasted. We were like, oh my God, what did we get ourselves into? He's like, I told you not to come in this cave. And I said, something drew me up here. I had to come in this cave. So I said to them, I said, well, you guys all right? Is everything okay? And this is the strange part. This is where it comes really strange. They said, I didn't see no mouths move, even though you could see that they had the mouth there, kind of like, it was just like a little line, and it didn't move, but I heard them. And they said, everything's fine, they said, and you could go. I said, but I don't want to go. I want to know if you guys are okay and what happened. So the next thing I knew, me and my brother, we were outside of the cave, laying down on the ground, and we sat ourselves up. And for whatever that's worth, that freaked us out to death. We're like, if they could do this to us, and why in the hell are we out in this cave and the sun's setting, and we still had trek back home for 3 hours. We had a flashlight, but we were scared as heck. I said, what in the heck happened? And we just started walking. We did not want to go back in that cave. We were scared. And I wasn't scared when I was in the cave. I was concerned. But then we went home. We went back to the cabin, and I don't think we slept a wink all that night. We just stayed up talking about what could that possibly be, even though we know. I mean, we were told about the UFO crash, something in the woods up there, and that's as much as we know in the story that's been told. But something took me in that cave that day to look, and to see that family of aliens in there, how they could have possibly survived in our atmosphere. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm just ordinary folk, but it was crazy. It was very crazy.
Wow, yeah, that certainly sounds, and that's the part of the interview that I thought people are probably going to be like, wow, what are you talking about? How can even the government not know about it? And, everybody, but hey, this is isolated. Who knows if anything like this is happening out there anywhere else, but hey, it's what a wild story there, Tom. Yeah, continue on. Because I know that more happened right after that, and it maybe continues, but you let me know. So yeah, continue on there, Tom.
Okay, yeah, Dino. It was a very long night. It was crazy. We got up the next morning, pretty much me and my brother saying, man, what the heck just happened? I wanted to go back up there. He did not. He was scared still. He said, there ain't no way. I don't know what I saw. I'm just leaving. And I said, with a little bit of arguing there back and forth, because I'm like, how can you see what you just saw and you want to just leave? Makes no sense to me. And he did make a good point that, see, if they did not want us there, so they put us outside the cave and we had no idea what happened. So I do understand what he's saying. But me, I needed to know. I'm like, I need to go back up there. I need to see if they're still there. I need to see what's going on. So what happened was we did go back home. He said, please don't say this to anybody. I'll get fired from my job, even though it's just local hardware stuff. But anyways, he just did not want me to talk about it. I promised. I said I wouldn't. So I didn't. I didn't say haven't said a word to anybody. But I went back up there. I did wait a week. I had to work. It's like everybody, you know. It was the longest week think I've ever had in my life. Thinking about this over and over in my head every day since it happened is just crazy. So I took that week and kept thinking about it. I didn't talk to nobody for sure about this. They would have all thought I was crazy loony. And I believe that it would have been. I understand that. But I finally got up the guts. I said, I'm not scared. I'm going back up to the cabin. If you want to come with me, brother, you can come with me, brother. And he said, nope. You're not getting me back up there. I got your cell phone. You can call me if you need me. So I guess that was a little reassuring. I'm able to get the cell phone signals where I'm at. So luckily, it's a lot of places in there you can't get no cell phone service. But we got service up there. So I said, I'll call you. I'll call you. So and I'm not scared to go up there by myself. That's for sure. I just headed right on up. Got to the cabin early in the day. It was probably about 8 in the morning that I got there, and I started trekking back. It was going to take me, as long as it took me to get there, which is quite a while. It took me a while to get there again. So about 11 o'clock, so I get back up to that cave. And I'm just standing out there. I swear I felt like I was standing out there for like forever. I had to get my guts up to go back out there and talk, or to see, not to talk, to get to. It wasn't easy, but I made my way back up to the cave. I turned on the flashlight. Those shiny little metallic objects and rocks, whatever they are, were still there. Still smelled like that sweet smell. Strangest smell to this day. I don't know. Must be something coming off of them. I just don't know. But I went in there, walked up to where I knew they were very slowly. It seemed like it took forever. Saw the glow coming out of the cave, out of that one room. It was like a greenish neon light kind of coming out of their glow. Walked back up to the door, and I seen one of them saying there, which is the father, I believe is who he was. I didn't see anybody else in there. No other aliens were in there. And I call them aliens because that's what they are, unless it's, I guess even that, it could be something different. I don't know, but you put it together, spaceship, aliens, it's gotta be. But I sat there, I talked to him. I said, hey, what did you guys do to me and my brother there? Why'd you put us out there? We were just concerned. We wanted to know what was going on. We heard a story. I told him the whole story about what we heard, the UFO crashing. And he said, and his mouth did not move. And meanwhile, I am scared. I am scared. That's for sure. This time I was scared. Because I was talking one-on-one. And I couldn't move really. It's I don't know if it was because I was scared or if he just made me stay there. I don't know. But I stood there and I just kept talking to him. I said, you know, told him we were just concerned and the whole story behind it. And he started telling me through mental telepathy or something, ESP, whatever, the mind thing. And he said that did happen. We crashed here about 22 years ago. And they thought they were dying. They thought they were dying. So they were scared. The ship was on what did he say? It wasn't burning, but it was kind of melting. It was melting down, something like that. Kind of hard for me to understand the concepts he was putting into words. But saying it was the ship kind of started melting from the outside in. So he took him and he said his son and his daughter they crawled out of there and worked their way up over to this cave. Meanwhile, he said he was over there. You know, they watched this thing just melt down into nothing. And he said it melted to a little ball that was about the size of a baseball. And that's all he told me. He didn't say where it was, if it's over there, because there were stuff all over this cave. And to this day, I don't know how nobody else has not come upon this cave, especially knowing the area. There's a few hundred people in this town, and I just don't get it. Maybe I'm the only one that wanted to venture up here. I don't know, but I did. And he kept going on. And I said, well, so how are you living? I mean, what are you guys capable of doing? I mean, how are you still living 22 years later? And he started saying, well, you know, we thought we were dying. We were sick. We felt sick. We crawled up to this cave and found this room back here. And but I did ask him. I said, "What's all this stuff in this cave? If this ship started melting from the outside in," he said, "You know, we were able to get what we did. We had stuff strapped to our back. We grabbed some stuff afterwards that did not melt down. That was part of the ship because it knocked off when it crashed somehow." He went into detail about the stuff that was in there, and basically parts of the ship, things he needed, things that were in his survival packs, they call them, that they brought with them. But he said he was they thought they were dying, so they went into the cave to rest and to live out their life until they died. They said. He said, but what started happening was, and remember, this is only ESP, and this is me and him one-on-one, and I couldn't even tell you the name he gave me, because he did give me a name. It sounded something like, like a vowel, or it was hard to make. I know that sounds funny, but I could not make it out, so I ain't even gonna try. But he said, as they laid there for about a week, thinking they were dying, they finally got themselves up and said, hey, in their own way, this is how he's talking to me, we have to get things going. We got to figure out how to get off this planet. They have a beacon, he said, on their ship, and it should have sent a signal out, he said. But, well, 22 years later, he said evidently that did not happen. But how they got healthy again, he said his body seemed to have adapted to the oxygen levels in the atmosphere. He said they were able to feed on the plants and vegetation in the area. So evidently they were able to eat that kind of stuff, even though I could not see nothing but a slit in the mouth, and I don't want to be sick, but I didn't see no rear end stuff, and I don't know how it works with them that way. Something I might have to, if I ever able to talk again, ask them somehow, but I don't know. It was strange, but they said they started living off the vegetation. I asked them about that sweet smell in the air. I said, I never smelled nothing like that in my life. He says that's what it's, I guess it's their body odor from the vegetation they eat in the cave, and it's just just like we got BO and stuff like that. Just, that's their smell. So, and I think he said it was from his diet, the stuff that he was eating. But anyways, I said, where's the rest of them? He said they are out getting some vegetation, some food, and making their daily rounds and stuff that they got to do. I guess they were building something to send a signal out. I said, how come it's taking 22 years for you to do that? And he said it took. He said, we got stuff, and it's not easy to put it all together the way we did with the stuff we got. But what we brought along with us in this survival pack, we should have been able to. It just hasn't worked out in forever. And they finally got themselves to a point to be able to make this beacon, is what I was told, to send out a signal. And I did ask him where he was from. And I'm sorry, Dino, but I haven't the slightest clue to this day what he said where he was from, but there was so much stuff I did not understand. That's all I can say. I just couldn't understand much of the technical stuff he was trying to tell me. And where it was from, his names, I mean, it was all foreign. But yet he can converse with me telepathically and let me know what was going on. So I at least got that much out of him. So we kept talking and talking. And I said, well, you guys have been here 22 years. How have you guys never been spotted? And he told me, he said, you know what? You're the first person in 22 years that's ever come into this cave. He said he's heard people outside on several other occasions. I said, several occasions in 22 years? He said, yep, there ain't much people coming around this area, he said, in his own way. He said, it's where we landed, there's just nothing around here. There's animals and that's it. No sign of human life, which is why we stayed put, he said. And I guess I said, that makes sense. That's understandable. I understand that. And if they were working to try to get back home, I understand. I don't know why I asked him, but I said, how old you guys could live for? I said, you're on this planet 22 years later. You guys, have you aged? What have you? And he said, we're infinite age. I don't know how much he knew about our lifespans and stuff like that, but he said, we're infinite, he said. So I'm taking that as they can live forever, or maybe that's just the term he uses. I don't know, or a long time at least. So, and he said they haven't aged a day even on Earth. So it was interesting conversation. Something very strange. And I said, will you guys be back here if I come back again? And he said, they should be. They're still working on their beacon. But what ended up happening was, after this long conversation with this being, I took and I just went back to the cabin to get a night's sleep. I needed a good night's sleep because I was soaking all this in. And I said, I'm going to come back up here the next day, which I did. I walked all the way back there the next day. And I went in that cave again. I had no sweet smell. I seen nothing around the cave that I was aware of. I did not see them. But I mean, they were there. It's not, I wasn't dreaming. This was my brother, it happened. But that next day, after telling me all that information, what happened, they were gone. Could be that they went someplace else, because there's no way in God's green earth that I think they got that beacon to work and have themselves come picked up after all that time. 22 years I stumble upon them and they get shipped back to their home planet, wherever they're from. I don't think so. I think they got up down there and moved. And I tried and I tried and I tried looking around. I could only venture so far, especially by myself. I'm not going to get myself lost up there. I knew where I was, but I wasn't, if I went any farther, I'd be lost. So that really aggravated me. I'm like, after all that time spent talking, everything that went on, and now people's going to think we're kook. Not that I was going to ever say anything. I don't know. I'm talking to you now because they're not there no more. I don't know where they've gone, if they're still within the vicinity, if they're in the Appalachians somewhere. It's a great place to hide if you need be. So I've been going up there every week since this happened, just to see if I could find him. My brother did eventually come with me, started looking with me, and we haven't been able to find a single thing. But God's green earth, this happened, Dino, and it just boggles my mind to this day that this has happened to me. I don't know what to think of it. Now I believe there's something out there. Them being gone kind of made even my brothers like, maybe we just dreamed it. I said, dreamed it? We were right there. What's wrong with you? And so I don't think that. It happened. It happened. But I believe they're up there somewhere in the Appalachians, just living, hopefully getting that beacon together to get off this planet again, because they wanted very much so to get back to their home planet. So I hope the best for them. I hope that's what happens. But boy, what a thing. And I'm still looking. I'm, like I said, every weekend, Dino.
Man, what a story, Tom. What a story. Boy, what can I ask you? So it just stopped. They ended up leaving. I mean, I guess I understand that. They don't want to draw any more attention to them, and Appalachian Mountains is a very wide open area, so I understand that they could hide from. But boy, that's what gets me, is you could find out so much info and information on what's going on, and the aliens themselves and stuff like that, and he just ends up disappearing. It's crazy. But anyways, Tom, I want to thank you for coming on here and talking with me. I really do appreciate it. I know you didn't want to, but I think people will like your story. And boy, if you keep going up there every weekend, please keep me in mind if anything were to happen again. I'll be keeping in touch with you in the group, so yeah, just keep me in touch.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Dino. You take care, and I appreciate you putting my story out there. That's for sure. I don't mind it being out there now. And if anything were to come up, I will definitely keep you in the loop and let you know. That's for sure. So, and I'll be joining your group too. I dig it. I like these groups. After this happened, I started joining a whole lot. So, yeah, you take care, Dino, and thanks for having me on.
Okay, talk to you later, Tom. You take care. And yeah, with that said, we're going to have, I know this is a shorter program than usual. The Paranormal Minute with Mystic Misfit will hopefully be back on next week. So, and a couple other things I'll be adding in there. This has been just a long week for me. Had a lot going on, but I did want to get this interview up there for sure. I promised him I would. If I was going to do it, I'd do it this weekend. So that's why I did it. And join up for our Facebook group, Paranormal Into the Night. And we'll be back longer, hopefully, show next week. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And man, what a story. Okay, guys, until next week, peace and love to y'all.